Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity Mobile studio, it is Mr. Flyperbole, Steve Jaco. What's going on tonight, Steve?
Oh, Bill, I am just living the dream, ready for another exciting round of Flyers hockey after that just inspirational performance on Wednesday. I know we're all feeling up and great about this team, especially playing against by far the best team in the NHL tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle. It is very, very apropos, I guess, that they're in, the Rockies for this monumental climb that they will have in order to win this game. Obviously, Colorado is freaking awesome. I don't know what else to say. We'll talk about them in a minute. Go through some of the numbers. Spoiler: they're like the best at basically everything. Tonight, Steve, it is game 50. Which means after tonight, 32 regular season games left tonight, and then 6 more until the Olympic break. And I'll tell you what made that Wednesday game so maddening is, just the way it unfolded, but also, it changed my outlook on the season almost, entirely in the span of, 8 minutes, I guess. And I was absolutely furious. I've calmed down a little. I'm still just kind of after what we saw.
I was saying
to
you right before we got on, I was like, thank God I wasn't on post game that night because I had to go into the office for my day job the next day. And I would have been up because I would have gotten so fired up from doing this show with you because that loss was so bad that I would have been up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I probably would have had to call out because I would have been that upset because I was upset just sleepily watching it on my couch because you knew as soon as Hathaway doesn't score that empty netter, you knew as soon as that happened, you're like, that's a bad omen right there. Because that was such an easy slam dunk opportunity to cement the game for the Flyers. Missing that, and then they couldn't make that empty netter, and then Utah's buzzing. And, I think for fans of this team, especially having seen this team blow so many leads and go to overtime, it wasn't that surprising, but it was still infuriating because they had that game locked down and they blew it.
And that was, I guess it's probably the most mad I've been since they lost that Sharks game a couple of years ago when it was the Sharks' first win of the season. And they were, by far the worst team. And you know what? They just kind of got goal lead that night. It was a frustrating game because you needed them to not be the first team to lose to the Sharks, but Wednesdays just felt because they had it, man. Outside of a 6-minute stretch where they were just running around lost in the middle of the second period, they wildly outplayed for 52 minutes. They wildly outplayed Utah, and then they absolutely freaking blew it. And that was it was freaking infuriating, Steve. But we move on, and I'll tell you, I'm excited. I'm excited for this challenge for the Flyers tonight because what Charlie and I always say is even though this team hasn't been relevant in at least, 10 years, really, sure, 2020 happened, but then, there's a global pandemic. We were watching playoff games in our homes and stuff. But I'm looking forward to this one. It's been a while, but this team's never boring. They're never boring, and as ridiculous as they are, they can lose the worst game. And then maybe, just maybe, they pull off an upset that I compared winning this game on Wednesday to the 1980 Olympic team beating the Soviets. That's basically what we're looking at. But I have a good feeling. And I have such a good feeling. Monday, we're all working remote at PHLY. We're calling it the Snowden Spectacular. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be a great time on all of our shows. I will shave my head. I will shave my head if they win this game tonight. If the Flyers beat the Avs, it's all coming off. I realize I don't have, the locks I did a few months ago, but I still think that would be a pretty substantial move heading into this last 6 games before the Olympic break.
And as someone who is not a full-time employee, I will make no such promises.
I
But
wouldn't expect you to, Steve, but like, what sort of mood do you have going into this one? Are you just like, okay, don't get blown out? Like,
yeah.
is that what you're feeling?
I'm feeling similar to how I felt going into the game against Vegas earlier this week, where I was going in just not feel, I think the pregame YouTube image said, feeling lucky, and I wasn't feeling lucky. I'm not feeling lucky tonight. Colorado is unbelievable. But, I'm thinking of a Colorado based movie, or at least a lot of the movies set in Colorado, when I say, so you're saying we have a chance? Because I guess there's always a chance with this team because they're goofy. They had no reason to win that Vegas game, and they won it. You never know. I know they usually get kind of blown out by the Avs, but I feel like they usually play hard against them. Avs have finally lost one home game, so
Their
there you go.
their first home loss in regulation was a week ago to the Nashville Predators, who don't look now. They've actually been kind of good, but the Avs also lost their last game. It was at home, a shootout 2-1 against the Ducks. It's possible. I guess it's possible. And I will say, while recent history against the Avs hasn't been great, they did play them pretty tight. A 3-2 loss in Philly earlier this season, and it was Sam Ersson in net. As it will be tonight, we take a look at the lineup, and it is Sam Ersson, 7-8-5 with a 338 and an 858 save percentage. It's funny, his save percentage, after stopping, I think it was 24 of 25 at Vegas, Ersson raised his save percentage from 855 to 860. Then he gave up 5 on 27 shots, and it fell another 2 points down to 858. He's back into the 850s. I don't even really blame that game on him. The team just got lost so many times, but it was man, it's hard when a guy gives up 5 on 27 shots to be like, oh, he played well. There was just a lot of blame to go around. I don't know if I pin it on him. Yeah. Like you said, Hathaway nets that goal. It doesn't matter how many saves he makes, they win.
Hathaway nets that goal. They have a bunch of chances at the empty net beyond that. But the other thing was, on that tying goal, your number one defenseman, Travis Sanheim, gets absolutely torched by Clayton Keller. Just torched. It was I've never seen Sanheim get burnt like that. But that's one that, okay, we talked about this a lot, I think, with the Vegas game, right? Where it was the rare game where Sam Ersson actually stepped up and made those saves to win the team the game. And that goal, don't get me wrong, outstanding speed and move from Keller on that, outstanding, but a very stoppable puck nonetheless. And I think if Ersson's aggressive on that, if he gets out there and takes that puck from Keller or something like that, that was a puck he could have stopped. And that's a kind of big save that if Ersson was a guy who was a contender for the full-time starting goaltender of this team, he makes that and we're talking about it. But that's who Sam Ersson is. Sam Ersson does give up that kind of goal. So I'm hoping we get Monday Sam Ersson, but that's a rare sighting right there.
Well, it's going to be Ersson. There was a thought that maybe Dan Vladar, he wanted to play Wednesday, and they're like, bro, no. Looks like they're going to be holding him out till at least Monday against the Islanders. And I do think that makes sense. Maybe don't, first game back from a couple of week injury, maybe don't throw him in there against the highest scoring team in the league that leads the league in shots. And, is going to have the puck the entire game. It's going to be high leverage the whole way. But we do have, while the goalie remains the same, we do have the lines, and there was a mix-up on the fourth line. Do you think Garnett Hathaway is coming out because of that terrible mistake he made? No, it'll be Nikita Grabenkin taking a seat, as Charlie said was possibly the case earlier. That's really the only change. Dvorak, Zegras, Konecny stays together. Couturier, Tippett, Barkey, Cates, Michkov, Brink. The top 9 remains as it has been. And that fourth line with Lane Peterson in for the injured Abels. It's Grundstrom with Hathaway and Peterson. Grabenkin sits. Hathaway remains in the lineup after, I guess, is it a benchable mistake? It's just such a bad mistake. I don't know if you pull him out for that, but also he has 1 goal on the season. No, it's not as if he's been good. He's been taking a bunch of penalties, and it was Rick Tocchet who said recently, hey, I might have to pull someone out of the lineup. It feels like this was an opportunity, but end of the day, it's not about the fourth line. The top 9 just have to do their job.
Right. I mean, as bad as the lack of the empty netter was, and again, it was really bad. Like, it looked like he was moving in slow motion, like he was in molasses trying to take that shot. It was terrible. But they still lose the game because they have a goal lead and their best defenseman gets torched and the goaltender gives up a goal that he could have stopped. So, like, it's more than just him. It's the whole team, right?
It's the whole damn team.
The whole damn team. And Garnet Hathaway, right? He could be the scapegoat for this, but look, I don't think he's played great this year, but it's not like Grabenkin's been that great either. So I'm fine with it. I mean, I think this is an okay lineup right now. There's changes. There's one topic in particular you have slated for later in the show that I want to talk about, but overall,
it is what it is right now.
It is what it is. And I mean, you're just going to need every goal you can against this team because Colorado, I mean, the number one in goals scored by, I think, I'm trying to do the math. I think it's 15, right? They've got 191 goals scored on the season, whereas the Flyers, I have to scroll quite a bit to get to them over in the middle of the pack, 147. So quite a difference there between the two. And guess what? They're also number one in goals allowed, 114. They're going to need everything. And I like that top line. I like that Dvorak and Zegras and Konecny. I think it's a good combination. Barkey's been pretty good with Couturier and Tippett. And, we're going to talk about him later, but it's kind of been mixed with Michkov, Cates, and Brink. I said this before, but I like Michkov with a guy who can maybe clear some space for him, a little bit of a guy who gets in the corners, scraps it up a little bit, but he is playing with talented, good players, but also he can't buy ice time to save his life, which is, again, a topic that we will get to, but you're going to need every little bit. And how about the defense? How's the defense looking?
Yeah, and on defense, it's a mixed up a little bit here. York, Sanheim, Sealer, Drysdale are reunited with Andre and Juleson on that third pair. I don't have a huge problem with this. Andre had a bad turnover in the middle of the ice that led to a goal on Wednesday. I don't think he's been playing his best hockey lately. I wanted to get your opinion on the Juleson fight on Wednesday night that resulted in he got an extra 2, and because of that, Utah gets a power play. That's how they make the game 4-3, and that's how they get into the empty net situation. What did you think of that? And Petey and I were kind of like, I know the penalty sucks, but you kind of just got to kill it. Charlie was more of the, hey, time and place, settle the score, like, later, like, figure it out. What did you think? And would you rather maybe be seeing Hunter McDonald?
I would rather see anybody out there than Noah Juleson because, like, he's just so slow. Juleson's been better than I expected him to be because in camp, everybody was talking about Juleson like he was the second coming of Andrew McDonald because of the number and the slowness. But, I mean, he's okay. He's a guy who's much better in, like, 2004 hockey than he is today. The fight itself, I felt very much like it was one of those classic, like, trying to pick up for your guys thing. I thought the instigator was a little BS-y on that one from the refs. I think, more annoyed at the fact that they called the instigator than him taking it necessarily. And I didn't think the momentum shift was a big deal, like Talbot style, because, like, Utah was already buzzing. So I didn't think that was the factor, but that instigator getting that penalty, that's the big factor there. Also, he sucked in that fight. He was not good in that fight at all. And I know the other guy, I forget who he was fighting, but I know it was a bigger guy. But, like, it looked like he had never fought before.
It didn't go great. And, like, Noah Juleson, I think for a lot of this season, while Risto was coming back the first time, held up pretty well for the most part. But he's just played too much. Like, he's a 7 at best, and he's been overexposed. And I think that's kind of coming to fruition at this point.
Yeah, but he's one of Tocchet's guys, Bill. He's one of Tocchet's guys.
It's him, Lane Peterson. We're seeing a few of Tocchet's guys lately, Steve. But that is tonight's lineup. On the other side, we're going to talk about someone who clearly isn't one of Tocchet's guys. In Matvei Michkov, we're going to get into these ridiculous special teams numbers once again, talk about the Avs and all that, but we got to take our break. All right, it's time for me to tell you about Xfinity and the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. What if I could offer you reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years. Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together and that fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Imagine Wi-Fi that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online and has all your devices working in perfect harmony. And imagine all that for 5 whole years. And the best part, there's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only, restrictions apply. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream almost 800,000 events each year. And today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team gains a 3-goal lead, you get an instant payout on straight bets, and parlay selections are marked as winners. It's that easy. And we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you gotta do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus an NPA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Steve. So we just took a look at the lineup, and Matvei Michkov will remain on the left wing with Bobby Brink on the right and Kate centering. And today, Charlie talked to Rick Tocchet, asked the question, hey, you thinking about maybe moving the guy back to the right wing? He scored a lot there last year, you know? And Rick Tocchet kind of just gave a, yeah, no sort of answer. We have the quote here. It's, yeah, I mean, listen, he's struggling, so you're looking for all different things. But the bottom line is we got him to play with some pace. That's it. I know everybody wants him to score and all that stuff, but you've got to be in positions to score. I think there's some better pace in his game since the switch to left wing, but I think there's more. And he goes on to say, I know he had like 6 shots last game, but a lot of them were from the outside, just throwing them on the goalie. I want more from him. I want him to do a deep delay, get out of there, move your feet, things like that. So whether it's right or left, it really doesn't matter. It's just where you line up. When you're in the offensive zone, it doesn't matter where you are in terms of starting position. So I think everybody makes a big deal, but through the neutral zone, for me, the faster you can go on your forehand is the better, but that doesn't mean you can't go to the other side. So I don't know if that's the right answer, but with wings, you just line up in a spot, and when you come in on your own end too, that's usually staying on your positional side. But after that, I mean, you watch this team, Colorado, you don't know who's right or left in the offensive zone because they move, so that's what we want. I will say the overall idea of like being positionless, having motion in the offensive zone, very important. I thought I saw him and Brink switch a lot in the game, just kind of moving around. I thought I saw like on breakouts, suddenly Brink would come up and move over to the left and Michkov would swoop over to the right, and they had some success doing that. But man, I know you want him playing a certain way. At a certain point, he had a lot of success on the other side last year.
It's square peg round hole right here, right? Like, it doesn't seem like he's trying to work with the tool he has. He's trying to make him into the tool he wants him to be. And it seems like he wants Michkov to play with a pace that maybe he doesn't have, you know, especially given how he came into camp and everything. And I don't like this quote very much because it doesn't seem like he wants the player to adapt to his system. He doesn't want to work his system around the player at all. And I know it's all about the crest on the front and not about the name on the back, blah, blah, blah. Fact is, the dude led your team in goals last year, okay? He was one of your best players, and he just has not been the same this year. And he has not seemed like he is in this Tocchet system, like he's working in it. And he seems more comfortable on the right. I think it's just every time we've seen him on the right, he seems more comfortable. And maybe part of that's that he's 21 and that's just how he knows how to play the game. Whatever it is, I don't know why Rick is so rigid on this. And Bobby, if this holds true, then why can't Bobby Brink play on the left? I don't really understand why it goes one way and not the other. And it just seems like he's very much like he's determined, no matter what, to get Matvei Michkov to work in this system. It's my way or the highway kind of thinking. And for some reason, John Tortorella was the less rigid of the two coaches when it came to this.
It seems like because Tortorella openly said, don't know how to coach offense, couldn't tell you how goals are scored, he just kind of left Mish to his own devices in that way. Like, he wanted him cheating for offense. Now, if he got caught, he'd still yell at him, but he still wanted him to do it. So there was some sort of mixed messaging sometimes. But overall, it was like, do your thing on offense. Whereas Tocchet, having scored almost 1,000 points in the NHL, has a few more opinions about how offense is played. And I do think some of it, like the York goal with Sanheim in the slot and York crashing down to grab the rebound, like there was some really good movement, all that. Like sometimes you see it. Other times this team kind of just looks stagnant, and you see it a lot on special teams, especially, Steve, and that's where I want to go to next.
Gross.
Man, the special teams are so freaking bad. Just a few numbers that I know I've thrown out a few times, but as the games pile up, we are now approaching game 50 in, 8 minutes. The penalty kill, 24th overall through 49 games. They are 32nd at 72.1% since mid-November and 61.5% since New Year's Eve. And let us not forget, they killed 6 of 7 in that Vegas game, and they are still at 61.5%. That is dreadful. And the power play, also absolutely horrible. 30th overall at 15.5%, under 13% since November 14th. That's 30th in the league, 31st in the league at 13.5 since New Year's. Like, it's bad. It's so freaking bad. You look at that game-tying goal in the overtime loss to the Leafs. That was a shorty. Yeah, they give up a shorty. Not only didn't they score to go up 2-0, they give up the goal. The goal to bring Utah within 1 on Wednesday was a power play goal, and Utah's power play, 15.4%, actually 0.1 worse than the Flyers for the season. And they gave up that shorthanded or that power play goal to allow them to get within 1. They even scored 2 power play goals against the Mammoth for the first time, and it's still for the first time in a month and 5th time this season. It still did not matter. And that you look at the power play numbers, like they're still horrible, and they just had a 2 power play goal game. This is something I bring up every time they have a 2 power play goal game as well, Steve. March 1st, 2020, last time the Flyers had 3 power play goals in a game. We are closing in on 6 years. It's truly unbelievable how bad it's been for so long. Incredible.
It's unbelievable. 6 years is just like stunning to think about. And I think that's one of the things when you look at this team in the standings, when you think about the playoff push and you see how tight things are in the East, and you're looking for those little differences, right? The little things that are going to make the difference for this team making or missing the playoffs. That power play is absolutely a huge part of it. And obviously the penalty kill as well, but they get so many power play opportunities by having these like ratty type players, these guys who instigate, these guys who get in people's faces and draw penalties, and they can't take advantage of them. I'm looking right now at the box score from that Maple Leafs game that they blew back in, a couple weeks ago, right?
To get this whole thing started. Yeah.
Yeah. To get this whole thing started. They were 0 for 3 on the power play. That was a 2-1 overtime loss. And not only were they 0 for 3, but they also let up a shorthanded goal.
-1.
Scott Laughton, to Scott Laughton to tie the game. So, you can see the huge differential that you get with the special teams right there. There's games where they've had the Ducks game, right? I think they were 1 for 8 in the Ducks game on the power play.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable. How can you go 1 for 8? Like, you have an extra guy, and I don't understand why they forget how to play hockey. Part of that is maybe that this is a smaller team, right? Like, I would love to have another big body.
They need a point man. They need a net front. They are missing personnel.
My
like
God.
15%, man. Like,
To
come
have
on.
a Wayne Simmons right now
Yeah.
would be to have a John LeClaire, to have a net front guy who can deflect some pucks, score some dirty goals. That would be huge for this team, but they don't have that. And this is a coaching thing. I want to see the coaches adapt to this.
Come
Thus
up with
far, they have
something.
not. Yeah,
All
come up
right,
with something.
let's talk about the Avs, and it's actually funny to talk about the Colorado Avalanche when we're talking special teams. Power play is Colorado's one weakness. They are at 16.5%. There's 26th in the league in the power play, and that's like kind of unbelievable. Still, they like lead the league in goals per game at almost 4. They give up the fewest goals per game, under 2.3. They lead the league in shots per game at almost 35. And they're second on the PK at 85%. Despite only scoring one shorthanded goal this season, they're still killing 85% of penalties, even though they might not be dangerous. But you just look at the season they're having, Steve. 34, 5, and 9 for 77 points through 50 games. And wow, they are 10 points up in the President's Trophy race. The Hurricanes have 67 points, and I believe in like one more game, maybe. It's truly incredible. 802 points percentage. Tampa is second at 688. They're like, what, 14% better than the next team?
There's a 3-game difference between the Avs and the Hurricanes. The Avs have played 3 less games than the Hurricanes, and they're up 10 points.
Up 10 points on them. Like, they are going to challenge Boston's 135-point record they set a few years ago. Fewest regulation losses for a season was the Habs in 76-77 with 10. Colorado, 5 over halfway through the season, so perhaps they are going to close in on that as well. The Bruins had actually 12 in an 82-game season, so they are well on pace to have fewer than that. But if there was ever a time to play the Avs, it's right now, Steve. 3-3-2 in their last 8. Lost that regulation home game a week ago to the Preds. Lost on Wednesday to the Ducks 2-1 in a shootout. Cool. This is the most human they've looked all season.
Cool.
The bad news, Nathan MacKinnon has been held without a point only 10 times through 48 games this year. Following a pointless game, he has 20 points. 8 multi-point games, and only once has he been held pointless back-to-back at Tampa and at Florida. The Ducks held him without a point. He has 47 points in 25 home games. 4 times only this season he hasn't put up a point in a home game. So he's the favorite or co-favorite pretty much everywhere. I think Bet365 has him as like a slight underdog to Connor McDavid in the Hart race, but he's 1 or 1A in pretty much every spot. So tall task for Sam Ersson and the boys tonight.
Yeah, 85 points in 48 games played, 38 goals, 47 assists. It's just unreal. Like, I would kill to have somebody like this on my team. And you want to talk about Sanheim getting burnt by Clayton Keller. I don't even want to imagine what Nathan MacKinnon can do to him. The Flyers are going to have to play a tight game today. And what I want to see, number one, most of all from them, is some damn discipline. They've been killing me with these unnecessary penalties, these stupid penalties. Tighten it up. That's how you're going to beat the Avs.
And that's the thing, like, Avs struggling on the power play, but look at their talent. The Flyers gave up that goal to the Utah power play, which is worse than theirs somehow. And I don't trust them even against the 26th ranked power play. They have to just stay out of the box. Now it's time for our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up for Bet365. Use code PHLY365 and then deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus an NPA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're going nuts tonight, Steve.
Woo!
We have a parlay.
Oh, man.
Matvei Michkov over half a point. Michkov over 1.5 shots on goal. And the Flyers on the money line. It's plus 750 for those 3 things. $10 wins 75. To pull off this upset, Flyers they're going to need something extra. And what they need extra is the mad Russian coming through. Put up those 7 shots on goal on Wednesday. Seemed to really have his legs. I want to erase the bad vibes from Wednesday in one swoop. He has no points in 3 career games against the Avs. Let's change that tonight. Let's get a big win.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Let's shave my head on Monday. Then this is a prayer. I don't suggest anyone really tails me ever, but this one, Garnet Hathaway, anytime goal. Speaking of erasing the bad vibes, it's 12-1, $5 wins 60. I just want him to kind of put that last game behind him and make up for that horrendous, getting his pocket picked on the empty net. Didn't even miss the net. Didn't even get a shot off. And maybe a little coincidence here. 1 goal, 0 assists in 18 career games against the Avs, and he famously 1 goal, 0 assists on the season. I don't know. Maybe it means something. Who's to say? I don't know.
Let's get nuts.
A dart here. I am probably not going to win these bets, but let's get to it. Let's have fun tonight.
Friday night. Let's have fun. 1 super chat, by the way.
Oh, 1 super chat. Before we get to that, just want to say in post game, we're going to be giving away our 3 grand prizes, the sign and snaps for the Flyers Charity Carnival on Sunday, February 1st. 1 grand prize winner gets a sign and snap with Cam York. 1 gets a sign and snap with Travis Sanheim, and 1 gets a Christian Dvorak sign and snap. So we will be giving those away on post game tonight. Let's get that super chat and let's get out of here. All right. From Gary B. Let's effing go Flyers. Bill, I heard Vince left PHLY. I'm sad. He was a good dude. I'm here in Arizona at a recovery center with a son of a high up at PHLY. Love you, Bill and Steve. We love Vince. We miss Vince. He was great. Nothing but love for Vince, and I hope everything's going well for you, Gary. All right. That's all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, make sure you're following us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. We'll be here with postgame. Make sure you tune in for that. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast. I am Bill Matz. That's Steve Jaco. Thank you to Brenna. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.